Hey guys, what's up? My name is Ashley Koyman and I just woke up, and today we are gonna switch locations and move on to the next site. I've got a rodent issue here. I've been in the middle of this beautiful field out in the middle of nowhere. I've had tons of rest. I haven't seen anybody in 3 days. It's been fantastic, but whenever you have a rodent issue, it just violates your privacy. You feel so violated, so it's time to go, and we'll find our next spot. I'm not too worried. There's so many beautiful places to stay in this beautiful state of Montana. So we'll see what we come across.
Do you want me to get that belly? Miss Charlie, do you want me to get this belly? Oh my goodness, is that the belly rubs? The belly rubs. Rupert, are you jealous, buds? Are you jealous? Miss Charlie gets the belly rubs and you get jealous. Something really gross. I set up my mouse friendly trap and there are two little buggers in there from last night. So I am out in the middle of nowhere and we are gonna walk just a far way away and let these little guys go. I'm driving really slow on a back road just so my brother doesn't kneecap me, but we are moving locations today. I got all of the rest and relaxation that I needed from this other campsite, and we are just slowly pulling out of this dispersed camping site that I found where there was absolutely nobody around me for 3 days. So it's been really, really nice. I'm really grateful for all of it, but I'm gonna hang up because I'm about to get off the dirt road and I really don't want to be kneecapped by my brother, but I'm literally doing 5 miles an hour. So please forgive me. I don't film while driving anymore. I want to keep my knees. So in his defense, he did get me a dash cam so that I could use that instead of trying to film while I drive to keep me safe. I just have no idea with technology and how to transfer the data to get it into a video. Y'all, I suck. I suck at technology, but I'm learning. It's part of this process. You're not going to be good at everything right away, so bear with me. We just got to our next site and yay, this is what it's like. I mean, sometimes you have to think about being in the wilderness. So, and thankfully we have a hard-shelled camper. Hopefully we won't have any bear interactions. So, I don't have much space to work with. I had this little space to turn around in. And here is the total campsite. Charlie's playing. But I was able to get my camper in here and it is perfect. I walked it out before I brought it back. So, and figured out a strategy because I didn't have a way to get the camper to turn properly. So it took us a few maneuvers to get it in here. So I came in this way, pulled it with nose front in there, backed into right here, because I couldn't get the camper to turn the way I wanted it to because it's so small. And so then I turned the nose of my car down the road and then backed the camper in. That was the only way I could get it in this little spot. But where there's a will, there's a way. And we figured it out. I really have to hand it to myself. I got my little tiny camper in here with this much room to spare. Just made a quick breakfast before we start our day, but I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy This is my Kodiak pancake mix. So it's about a cup of Kodiak pancake mix with a cup of a snack pack of applesauce. And I'm going to eat that last after my oranges. Otherwise, it's not going to taste as good. But it's got a little honey drizzle and a little cinnamon in there. And it's just like a little apple flapjack with cinnamon. So I think today is going to be a good river bath day. And then also, I'm probably going to do a little bit of laundry. I am almost out of some clean clothes. So it's definitely time to work on some laundry. Um, and with this beautiful water right next to me, there's ways that you can do it without having as much of an impact on the environment. So I'm going to try and get just a few things washed to tide me over until I can get to a laundromat and do it the right way. But, for now, this is what I've got because I'm kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I've got my river, I've got my bucket, I've got my soap, and I've got some nylon rope to help string them up when I'm done so they can dry properly. I also don't want to put extra soap in the water, so I'm going to use the bucket separately and dump that away from the river. I mean, it's biodegradable soap that I'm using, but it's still not good to put it directly in the source if you can avoid it, because it's still not natural for this environment. And you want to keep that stuff as far away from a water source as possible. So even though we are using biodegradable soap, it's still on the back with the directions. It says to make sure, especially if you're using it by alpine lakes and streams, to make sure you're at least 200 feet away from the water source. And then also to dig a hole that's 6 to 8 inches deep for disposing soapy wash and rinse water. And this allows the bacteria in the soil to completely safely biodegrade campsites. So make sure that you follow the instructions of whatever product that you're using. And we're just going to use a couple drops in this bucket to get my clothes, you know, clean. And then we're going to dump the water away from the way that it says to do so. And this little spout gets clogged all the time, but I'm just going to put a couple little drops in there to help break up the dirt on my clothes. And then we're just going to dump this elsewhere. All right, that should be enough. I don't need a whole lot. I just need to get clothes clean enough to be able to wear them for a few days and get me to a laundromat. Swirl that around. Make sure that, ooh, that water's chilly. I'm going to take a nice little river bath later too. We're just going to, work your clothes in there. And then when I get done cleaning these clothes, I'll dump the water and then I'll go get some fresh water out of there and use the same hole that I dug to, dump this water in. You always want to think about the environment while you're out here and do right, do right by yourself, do right by the environment. I really try to leave as small of a footprint as possible, at least while I'm out here, give back by making sure that I do things the right way. Man, I need to do laundry. Big time. It smells good. Maybe that citronella will keep some of those away, but man, stuff gets dusty and dirty. All right. It takes a while, you're doing like one article of clothing at a time. I just really like if people get into this lifestyle, I just really want the environment to be at the top of their mind. Because, like, if you come to a place like this that's pristine, like, there is one bottle cap that's in my campsite. That's the only trash that's here. Like, if you find a place like this, we need to protect it and we need to make sure it stays cleaner than it was when we got here. So this is all part of this lifestyle is giving back while you're out here. This will also save me about $5 to $10 in laundry services, so that makes it a little bit better. I kind of sort of want to do all my laundry, but it's a lot of work to wash your laundry this way. You really just have to sit here and wring it out and really just play with it in that water to get the all the dirt out. I don't have a washboard, so this is the best I can do while I'm out here. I'm basically making my own spin and rinse cycle. Just working it in the water here to try and get as much of the dirt and grime that's built up in the from where in there. And y'all, I just used the most minuscule amount of soap too. I didn't even put that much in there. I used like maybe about a total of 8 to 10 drops in this huge bucket. So I'm really trying to be conservative with what I'm using. I feel like it's better for the environment the less we put unnatural stuff for the environment that we're in that we put into it, if that makes sense. I have no idea where my shovel went, so I found a river rock so that I could dig a little bit of a hole to get that down in the soil so that it can do its job in helping it, biodegrade. I don't know what I did with my shovel. I can't find it. So this river rock will definitely help. I'm just going to keep it small and just dump it in there slowly because I want to have the least amount of impact as possible. I don't want to go digging up a root system of something. All right. So there's about a 6-inch hole right there. Let's see here. And you can see how gross that water got. All that dirt that came out of those clothes. So we'll just do it nice and slow so that I can bury it and then it can do its job with the bacteria in the soil. I'll give it a second to absorb. I can usually find a laundromat. I've just been out for quite a while and have been going through like little towns and finding these spots where I want to stay for like 3 days at a time so I don't even unhitch the camper. And I didn't get a chance to even restock very much before I came over here because I couldn't find a good grocery store in between my campsites. All right, we'll give that some time. I'll come back and dump a little bit more later. So I'm just going to put these clothes back in here for a quick final rinse. And then I'm going to go wring them all the way out. Since these clothes are soapy, I'm just going to dump this water down the same hole when I get done rinsing these out. So, man, these clothes needed a wash. They were dirty. That's what happens when you wear your clothes for 2 or 3 days at a time. They get pretty dirty. Like I said, this life can be kind of grimy at times, but I love it. I love feeling the connection. I mean, I'm washing my clothes in river water. It's crazy. But these experiences, that's what life is all about, you know? Just living in the moment, figuring it out as you go. The redneck MacGyver thing. You just figure it out as you go. We all have it. You learn 80% of what you're going to learn in a lifetime by the time you're 5 years old. You have the capability to figure out most situations you're already in, just so you know. Thought that was a neat little tidbit of information. You already have your foundation. Stop overthinking it. I think we overthink stuff so much in our life. It's simple, guys. It really is. You have a choice when you get up every morning. You can either choose joy or choose sadness and anger. The choice is yours. And right now, I'm choosing joy, period. But we will make sure these clothes are good and wrung out. And I'm still trying to wring them out over the bucket to make sure if there's any suds that I put them back in the right spot. So hopefully this line will be able to hold the clothes off the ground. That's the goal, just to give them a space to dry. I don't have a ladder, so I can't really get this up any higher. I'm short. I went back and did just a little bit more laundry while I had the opportunity, because that'll save me about $5 to $10, and that will extend my time out here to enjoy this place just a little bit longer. So today we're just going to sit and watch my laundry dry and probably take a nice luxurious splash in the river, feel clean and renewed, and yeah, just revitalized out here. Miss Charlie, why are you always laying in the sun? Oh, stretch. Life is hard out here. Now I'm just waiting on my laundry to dry. I went and took a nice pre-rinse in the river, and then I washed outside of the river just to make sure that I wasn't putting that soap directly into the water source. I could fill up my little 2-gallon shower with the river water, and it was cold, but dunking in, like a pre-dunk in the water before I showered, really helped me acclimate to the colder water, so I didn't even have to wait for the water to warm up. And it's a nice warm day, and I can sit out here and just relax and dry out, and then I can just go put on some normal clothes and go about my day. And it's just a really kind of easy, nice way to spend the day. And then I'll just cook dinner and go to bed. I mean, sometimes you get a little bit bored out here, and it is very isolating, but at the same time, like, it's such a reset. I'm resetting right now. So when I get back to my normal life, that I can be a full participant in my own life and not think about the what ifs, because I know what the what ifs are, and because I've tried them. Making a little bit of trout and some asparagus and then some rice. We'll see how it turns out. I just realized how brave I am sitting out here eating trout in grizzly country, bear country. I'm not the brightest sometimes. And Charlie is getting quite jealous. I know, you've already had your dinner. Anyway, sitting out here eating this in bear country. Sometimes I just don't use the little noodle. So some stuff is just taking a little bit longer to dry, but I had to move some over to the car and try to dry it this way to get it more in the sun when the sun was on it. So we'll get those packed up for the evening, and then I'll put anything else that's soggy back out in the morning so it can continue to dry. So there's just a laundry pile in the back of the car to put back out in the morning. Just gonna get this mess cleaned up real quick. And I usually like to try and do dinner really early. Hi guys. Charlie bit into a yellow jacket yesterday and got stung on her tongue. So we loaded her up with some Benadryl, the right amount for her, and she went to bed shortly after, but her little tongue was so swollen, it was really sad. It made me feel like a bad mommy, but nothing I could have done different. Anyway, but yeah, I usually just clean up the campsites pretty early because I like to have everything, done and ready for when I go to bed. I usually do dinner around 5 o'clock. Today it's a little bit later. I'm almost at 7 o'clock by the time I'm done eating and getting the laundry sorted. So usually I'm already packed up and everything's clean and done at this point, but not now. I hit up the grocery outlet one last time before I left Idaho, and thankfully I did. I didn't realize they didn't have them here in Montana, so now we are down to some trout, which I happen to be on a trout river right now. So just the irony there. But I had another double serving of fish that I was able to get, so I'm saving that next serving until tomorrow night since I'm a little scarce on food right now. So I didn't really stock up that great before I came to this site. I tried to stop at a grocery store and then it said be back soon, and I was like, I don't know how long soon is. I think I've got enough food to last for about 3 days, so I'm just stretching the food that I have and I'll be fine. I've got plenty of stuff to nibble on, and just I like full meals. So I like preparing full meals when I'm out here. I like doing it early. I like getting it cleaned up early, and I like going to bed early. As soon as the sun goes down, I am in bed, like watching movies on my cell phone or something like that, or just reading or going to bed, whatever I feel like doing. Sometimes crocheting. I know, I'm like an old lady out here. Whatever. I'm having a good time, so that's all that matters, right? I'm almost done cleaning up from dinner, but just sitting here laughing at myself. Let's eat fish out by a river in the middle of bear country. That'll be fun, she said. Anybody hear from Ashley in a while? Oh, that's because she got eaten by a freaking bear because she was doing something stupid out in the middle of the woods. Gosh, not that smart sometimes. But really, all I really wanted to say is that if I can do this, anybody can do this. Rupert, you poor little guy. So I noticed something around my camper, and I usually don't pay attention to little berries like this, but I love foraging when I'm out. So those are actually chokecherries, and I'm going to do some extensive research before I go to bed, and I'll probably try some tomorrow. But I hope y'all have a wonderful evening, and we will see you in the morning. Right, Miss Charlie? You so pretty. Right, Rupert?
I woke up. It's like 2:30 in the morning, and you can hear all of the rain. It just started storming, and it's like big. It's not even like relaxing rain. It's a big thunderstorm that just happened. I didn't see it in the forecast. I didn't really check the weather that well. I was having such a good snooze too. I'm a light sleeper. Just sucks. But oh well. Make the best of it in the morning. I left my chair out because people kept driving down the road that I'm on where I'm camped at. So I was like, well, I'll leave my chair out. It'll just have like the dew in the morning. It's gonna be soaked, but it shouldn't take too long to dry out. It's just an old beach chair. Anyway, alright, I'm gonna try and go back to bed.
My chair got soaked, but it shouldn't take too long to dry. I'll just set it in the sun and it'll be better. Morning. I'm sitting out here having my coffee, and I didn't sleep that well. We had quite a bit of rain off and on last night, and it's fine. I don't think anybody's going to have sympathy for me sitting in front of this beautiful river back here. But I think I'm just going to spend the day cleaning the camper out. I went to the GO and the grocery outlet, and I bought a whole bunch of like large bags of fruit and stuff like that. And I've been shuffling around the camper from my bed to the bunk, to my bed, to the bunk, to the floor, to my bed, like just because there's no room, and I can't keep food in my car because of the rodent issue in some areas. Like I moved locations, I haven't had a rodent issue here at all by the river. but out in the field that I was in, man, they were pretty aggressive. So you just never know where you're at. And anyway, but I think I'm going to do that, and then I'll get my camper all organized and, whatever. And then I'm going to experiment with some chokecherries and see what they taste like, because I did enough research to be confident in what these berries are that are around my camper. So we're going to try some of those. And then I think I'm going to find my next location. And I'm going to try and meet up with my friend on the way through an area that I used to be a whitewater raft guide with back in the day. So he lives in the beautiful state of Montana. And just trying to get my route mapped out and figure out where we're going next. Sometimes I don't figure it out until the day of. So it might be tomorrow morning when I figure out where I'm going next. So who knows? We'll figure it out. And sometimes when you're out here, you have like all these things planned and then nothing happens, and less than you ever imagined could happen. So you do a whole bunch of nothing. And then there's other days where you have magic that just happens while you're out here, and you run into somebody, you have a great conversation, you end up finding something else that you wanted to work on, and you end up accomplishing quite a bit more than you anticipated. So you just never know. You just take it as it comes. It's a mixed bag every day. But anyway, we'll get to working on stuff as soon as I get done with my coffee. I don't know what to do with all of it. Like this bear stuff from the grocery outlet that I got, these things are amazing. And then also, this stuff is really good to use if you don't have milk. Now, if you don't like coconut, it's probably not a good option, but it's a dairy-free creamer, and it actually works quite well if I can't keep milk in my cooler stable long enough. So it's an alternative. Living with a husky and a cat is so hard. I think black is not a good color for me anymore. Now comes the process of trying to get all of this crap back into here, because it's ready to have stuff go back in here. But yeah, it's a bit of a process. It doesn't take very long to clean. It's just getting it organized and figuring out where to put all this stuff with such limited space. I'm gonna get it put back together, and then we'll show you how we managed when I'm all done. Somehow I managed to get all of my stuff pretty much reduced. It's about to go back in the camper, but these are some duck eggs that I got from a farm that I stayed at, and I've had them for a little over 3 weeks. I don't know if they're still good, but the couple that I did have were really good, and I don't know how to tell if duck eggs are still good, so I'll have to do a little bit more research on that. But they are shelf stable outside of the refrigerator. That's why I got them. Anyway, but yeah, we've got everything reduced. I've got the dog treat bag that's open, my treat bag that's open. I have a potato that I found that I forgot about that I shoved into the bottom of this tote that was full of food. And then I'm going to get rid of those not mouse friendly traps and keep my mouse friendly trap. I tried using one of those one time. I didn't catch anything on it, thankfully, because it would have been traumatizing for me. I got my computer all situated and just some random stuff. So we're just going to shove everything back in the camper and I'll show you what it turned out like. The way done yet, but we can give you an idea. So everything is just compartmentalized, like it's a game of Tetris every day. I always put my phone or my purse in the camper with me just so I've got it on me at all times. And then yeah, I mean, it's just a tiny little space in here, but everything is, cleaned up and smells good in here again after a little Febreze. And yeah, so now we get to enjoy the rest of our day and focus on the chokeberries. I'm gonna see if I can reach this branch right here. It's just slightly, yep, we're gonna pull it down, but I can't do it while I film. But I'm just gonna get these because the other ones are still a little bit red. So those are the ripe choke cherries or chokeberries, whatever you want to call them. But whoop, there's one right there. Oh, another one fell on me. So that one must have been really ripe, but I can't tell which one it was. So these are little choke cherries. And I'm gonna give them a try and see what I think. All right, so I'm gonna try some of the chokeberries. These are really good little antioxidants. There is a bit of caution with these though. They do have cyanide in their little pits that they have. So I'm just gonna give it a whirl. I always do a lot of research before I try something. Make sure if you're out foraging that you also do the proper amount of research. Do not put anything in your mouth that you are concerned about, whatever, do not just eat a berry without doing research. Yeah, this is not the safest thing to do if you don't have an expert to tell you what they are. So just be cautious, err on the side of caution. If you don't know, don't try it. But if you've been able to do some research and you're 99.99999% certain that this is what it is, then go for it, I mean, if that's what you're willing to do, it's risky. Don't, do something dumb, but, just try it if you find something that you feel confident about. But only do a small amount too, because if you do get sick, you don't want it to be that sick. And I don't want to get sick in this little camper. So that's why I do a whole bunch of research before I even attempt something like this. But let's give it a whirl. Okay. Not much to it. It does have a cherry-esque flavor to it. And it's got this little pit, which if you crush that pit, it's poisonous. So don't eat the pits if you're out hunting and foraging for chokeberries or choke cherries. The chokeberries are the red ones. The choke cherries, I found out, are the black ones like this. But make sure that you always use the leaf identification too when you're trying to find stuff, and that you make sure that the rest of the description outside of the berry matches the whatever you're trying. So just be safe. Please be safe. A little bit chalky in a weird way. It's like a chalky gel in there, but it tastes good. But man, that's a lot of work. A lot of times they use these to make jam and stuff like that, so they'll boil them and then strain out all the pits so that you don't have your crushed up cyanide in there. I think in Ozark, that's how they knocked off one of the characters, was putting crushed up cherry pits in his coffee in the morning. Anyway. Alright. Not bad. It's got some antioxidants. What else? At least we tried it. So, alright. I like finding random stuff when I'm at a campsite. So this was actually from my stuff. That's the little Snoop Dogg 19 Crimes little cork. And then that's from cleaning everything out. And then I found this little guy. Well, I found the eyeballs on my campsite. And then when I was walking the riverbed, I found this weird creature right here. So we just added some eyeballs and turned it into something. And then this little thing, it's just neat. Like, Montana has a lot of neat stuff in their rivers. All right, guys, thanks so much for taking the time to hang out with me today and learn a little bit about chokeberries and then also how I get my camper organized and then how to do laundry when you're out by a river. Sometimes you just got to make it up. I don't know if I did it right. I do know I disposed of the slutty, soapy water right. So, hey, we do what we can, right? Lesson learned, I probably would rinse my clothes out in the water before I put any type of soap on them because that pre-rinse probably gets out a lot of that dirt and grime to begin with. So that way you're not washing your clothes in dirty, soapy water. Lesson learned. First time. So you got to experiment. You got to figure out what works and what doesn't. But also just, I really hope that y'all have a great evening and you learn a little bit about this lifestyle and different ways if you ever want to do it yourself on how, give you some ideas on how it's done. I mean, everybody does it differently. It's not a one size fits all. So, take what you can from this and apply it to your own style and create your own journey. That's what it's all about. Out here having a good time and just trying to figure it out and learning what you're capable of. Anyway, hope you guys liked what you saw. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe. And I really hope to see y'all down the road. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. Stay tuned for a message from our sponsor. And now, a quick word from our sponsor. Tell me all of it, Charlie.